Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. This is Equa Television Internet Election, which is yet to be concluded, and then it is something that we are hoping and thinking that by now we should not be talking about gubernatorial election. But with all this drama, celebrating, and then some people are rejecting the announcement, and then INEC coming strongly to take decision on the wreck of Adamawa State. This is all what we are going to be discussing today, building the discussion on what we started yesterday on Nigeria Now. So we hope you will follow us. We are live on Facebook and YouTube, so just drop your comment. Let's hear your own view. And I have Joyce. I am so worried about how situations are unfolding, things are unfolding in our political terrain, and then looking at how institutions, parastatals, which are saddled with certain responsibility, and then you see them going against even why they have been established, and you start asking yourself why. And then you remember the civil society organizations raised some concern, particularly on some resident electoral officers of some particular states. They say their reason that some of them are being partisan. And then, during the general election, you see how some of the chief returning officers, some that cannot even make the declaration proper. We saw those videos going viral. And then people talked about, INEC hiring people to do a constitutional responsibility for them. And that is the reason why some people can just have their way, do whatever they feel like doing, and then they just get away with it. You didn't hear anybody being punished, nobody go to the court, to the prison, like the detriment of taxpayers. You remember this money we are spending concerning this election is taxpayers' money. And look at what is happening in Adamawa State. By now, should we be talking about gubernatorial election, still inconclusive?
Well, what happened in Adamawa State's supplementary election, I think I'll align myself with what the SDP candidate said. It is just a pure dance of shame. And it's so unfortunate that we place ourselves in that pedestal where the whole world is watching, not just African countries, looking up to Nigeria. If you get it right, we have hope that going forward, we will get it right in terms of democracy, which is clearly the theory that the common man knows what he wants and deserves to get it real right. Going with the fact that, technology was going to be introduced and all of that. The president echoed the fact that he wants to leave as legacy free, fair, credible election. I remember during the peace accord how the presidential candidates were sitting down and he gave a strong warning that nobody dares to cause any violence. The will of the people must stand. And everybody will think that collection of cards, even with the tedious process, people still went all out. We saw how the people were all preaching competence, capability, good and self to encourage and enlighten Nigerians to participate in this general election, because we are in a time where you can only refer to as perilous time, where if we don't get it right, then we'll continue to go down as a nation. And people were so encouraged, they had confidence. What played out on February 25th during the presidential election, like against all people's expectation, after people turning out early on time, what we're hearing, beavers malfunction, what we're seeing late coming by INEC officials, logistic failures, among other things.
Untrained ad hoc staff.
Untrained ad hoc staff, which is so uncalled for. This is a general election, and then we registered over 1,000 international and domestic observers. And I think one of the reports that we got from one of the observer group is the fact that the election went beyond standard. INEC went beyond even its laws, did not stand by its law. We had issues of logistic failures, operational failures, among other things. People had expectation. People will tell you, in my polling unit, this was what happened, but going to the collation center in Abuja, the announcement that they're here is contrary. We've seen how that in some of the states during the collation, you see that the number of accredited voters, the number of votes is more than the accredited voters, which is even against the Electoral Act. How did that happen? You expect that when it comes to general elections like that, people that will be employed, that will be called upon to do some of these works, will be people that are highly intellectual, people that will know where to place data and figures, people that will not cause us to look like a joke, even in the international, before the international scene and all of that. But at the end of the day, you see people that are even struggling to call figures. And I just ask myself, are we really ready for the change we keep talking about? Wow, how can we grow beyond this, where we are always employing people, bringing people based on our emotions, based on our affiliation, who will protect your interests and all of that. And then going by all the complaints that came out from the presidential election, you will think that we will learn lesson from what happened and we will not have a repeat during the gubernatorial election. And on March 18, when we had 28 states conducting gubernatorial election, you expect that, yes, corrections were taken and all of that. And we saw that in terms of Beavers functioning well, in terms of INEC officials coming early, and we gave it to them because, oh, it is good that when people make observations, you work on that. And then it's so quite unfortunate that at the end of the day, Adamawa election, Kebbi, was inconclusive, and it was rescheduled for April 15. And we expect that it's just 2 states, gubernatorial election, federal, some Senate position that the likes of Tambuwal emerged, some constituencies, state constituencies among others. So you wouldn't think that, oh, this was going to be some Herculean task for INEC, because the writing, the conversations from February 25th has been about post-mortem analysis of the election. So you expect that people must have learned lesson, and then you see them conducting free, fair, credible, transparent election in Adamawa State. But reverse is the case. Today we're talking about saga, we're talking about reactions, we're talking about crisis, we're talking about people protesting already. And I'll ask myself, what the rec now of Adamawa State coming out to announce results, to declare a winner, under what constitution, under what law, guided by what? Because as far as we are concerned, going by the 1999 Constitution, the Electoral Act, and INEC guidelines for conducting election, a rec is resident electoral commissioner. He's just to ensure that everything about logistics is in place. INEC officials are there on time and all of that. And then we just see that a rec coming out after the returning officer suspended the collation, like by around 1 a.m. saying we continue 11. And before 11, an hour before 11, then we are seeing a rec coming to announce result when collation was not concluded already. Out of the 20 local governments in Adamawa State, only 10 local government results were actually collated. And we, so far from the collated result, we saw how that the incumbent governor, talking about Fintiri, I think he won in Demsa, Lamudei, Jada, Gaya, and so on, among 2 others. But Binani Aisha, who is popularly called Binani, the APC candidate, won in Yola North, Yola South. And of course, she's a woman. Everybody wants to align, oh, first female governor, like it's something that you anticipate. But what is wrong with the entire thing? We always talk about the process. What is, how transparent, how credible is the process that is bringing whoever emerged winner, whether president, whether senator, member, House of Reps, or state assembly, or even governor. What about the process? How credible is the process? How transparent is the process? We have laws, we have guidelines. Why are we going against it? And to even call it a shame is an understatement, because there were security officials when the announcement was made by the state, the resident electoral commissioner. And you ask yourself, were there no orientation for all these people? Is that they don't know what the law provides, that you see down and then you're hearing rec without any figures, without any data, say announcing or declaring winner. And so far from even the 10 local governments that were announced and declared, Sambo Solomon Binani scored 390,000. And then Fintiri 421,000 plus. And then when you look at the merging, it's about 31,000. He was leading with about 31,000. So where did you get the data from? Where did you get the figure from? And no wonder the likes of Makinde, governor-elect of Ondo State, had to, or your state, had to go to visit his counterpart, the governor of Adamawa State, the incumbent, talking about Fintiri, who is also in the race. calming the people down and saying the needful must be done. We can't say we are practicing democracy and we don't believe in it. I like the swift response of INEC in the whole of it, summoning the REC and other officials to come and answer questions. But the law must take its course. If we believe in rule of law, or if we are a country that is guided by rule of law, let's see the law taking its course. Because when you continue to allow things like this taking place, at the end of the day, people will question all the elections. There will be questions. Already there are questions. So how do you prove to Nigerians that you did the needful? Let me surprise you, Sambo Solomon. The INEC doesn't even have right to even remove the REC. It is only the president. Just 43, barely 43 days. You think the president, well, even though we believe that justice, the law should take its course, the president barely have 43 days. We hope that he'll be able to utilize it for 3 days and do the needful. You ask yourself, what kind of law is that? That you're working for a commission, but the commission does not even have the right to remove you. Like, how are we doing, amending the laws and making the laws? INEC only have the right to punish. And as it stands right now, the INEC have banned the Adamawa Resident Electoral Commissioner from entering their facility or doing anything. And then we've seen Binani as well, Aisha now suing INEC, saying they don't have the right to stop her from being the governor-elect. A lot of drama going on. People are already on the streets. They are protesting. Supporters of the PDP, supporters of APC are already on the street. I like the fact that Fintiri called on his supporters to remain calm, and then they should just allow the law take its course. Nobody should tour the path of crisis or violence and all of that. But I'll tell you that the action of the REC in Adamawa State, that action is highly condemnable. And I call every Nigerian must condemn that act. I've seen the likes of one of the senators in Adamawa State, Ishaku Abu, talking about the fact that, yes, INEC does not even have the right because it has been declared. So the only thing you can do is tour the path of court and all of that. People are already justifying this. What is wrong? Why? When it suits us, we celebrate it. When it doesn't suit our interests, we condemn it. No, we can't go anywhere if we continue on that trajectory. And that is why I'm calling on all Nigerians to condemn that act. The world is watching. People are saying, well, we'll see to the end of this. You have law, and this action contravene even the law. The position of the to declare winner, and a REC who is just supposed to ensure that every logistic is in place, announcing result. The needful must be done. Nigeria is a volatile country, and going by the history of elections and how that things have played out from 1964, you will know that you shouldn't insult the sensitivity of Nigerians. In 1964, over about 200 people died because they felt that, oh, this election was rigged in favor of this party. 200 people. In 1993, 100 people died because they also felt the election was not free and fair. When you go down to 1999, about 80 people died as well because they felt the election was not free and fair. It was rigged in favor of this person. And then in 2003, 100 people. 2007, about 300 people. In 2011, had the highest. 800 people died. You recall that during 2011, that was when President Muhammadu Buhari, he actually contested as well. His supporters felt, though, he won the election, and they tore the path of street violence. That's how people, they died. They didn't even see when he emerged in 2015 as the winner of the presidential election. In 2015, 100 people died as well. 2019, we had about 150 in record died because they felt election was rigged. In 2023, 28 people plus the 6 people that died during the weekend, 34. How can a REC, knowing the volatility of Nigerians and elections, I begin to ask myself questions. Maybe he doesn't know history or the history of this, what has played out, because you won't try it. People are already on the street. Think about it. When they decide to talk part of violence, crisis, and all of, people would die. On what ground? Because of one person in action. People are already asking the question, maybe this person did that, other influence. Maybe we should be asking drug or money, because some people are alleging that 200 billion, about 200 billion or 2 billion was given to him. But DSS security are already investigating that. We need to unfold, bring out and allow whatever, ensured what happened, and ensure that the law, beyond the talk, let's see the law taking it, because there's law already against that action. And if there's the law, then let's allow the law take its course. Let it not be because, oh, it is in favor of the ruling party, so we keep going round the table and just allow the matter to be swept under the carpet. No, we must fight this if we want to get it right. Fight it. through the right way, constitutionally, the law. And I think when we do that, other people will learn lesson.
Yeah, you see, I was highly disappointed, and then the reason is that, you know, after this this 2023 general election, you know, so many allegations, counter allegations here and there, you know, and then during the collation, you remember what happened at the national collation, and then some walk out the whole issue because, you know, the INEC will now take it. And then when you connect, because this person you expect is well trained, somebody that you believe in, you give him, knows what is required of him. He's not the chief returning officer, and he knows what the law says right, by the new electoral law to my appointment. You know, and that's where we see all these professors, you know, coming and then being chief returning officers for all of this state. And then you see or drop. That level of people were accusing the INEC of from the up is true. And the other part of it, yes, I hear Fintri come at the end of the whole thing, but you hear somebody who is a lawmaker quickly going to the court. Somebody who is a lawyer, is a son. I started asking myself, I said, do we really have law in this country? This is the question that I ask. And then you see Nigerians, because ordinarily you see the common Nigerians going to prison, violating, you know, the law of the land. You see them working freely. You see, will be balanced the way we think. It's going to be, you know, top there, you know, I just keep wondering. And I just pray that Binani, I beg your pardon, to go to court. Because
she's asking that her declaration be reviewed as well. Acceptance speech.
And there was acceptance speech. And then your followers are celebrating, you know, knowing that INEC have reversed that. And you are saying you don't care. It's only the court that will separate you. You know, and I begin to say, okay, as a lawmaker, anyway, we will see how it plays, but it is condemnable. And I think all Nigerians should condemn it. And I think the civil society organization should follow this thing, and then the media should follow it, so that we will give a balanced report, so that people, you know, that are doing the right thing, we know that there is hope for them in this country. Good story for workers. You know, federal government to begins 40% pay increment for workers. You know, April ending.
Well, it is good news, but it is
good news
but for workers. I'm saying but because when you ask the civil servant out there, they will tell you until it enters the account. That's when they will know, oh, good work, well done. But I think there is hope, since as it stands right now, the federal government is actually is to pay 40%. There should be 40% increment on pay of civil servant, and it is actually to begin April ending. And you will recall that the Minister of Labour and Employment, talking about Chris Ngige, earlier said that the budget of the increment was included in the 2023 budget, and it was supposed to be effective from 1st of January, January, and but they couldn't meet up, and that is why they're saying from April ending. But for the January to March, the allowances are going to be paid. Now, this is not really salary increment, but increment on allowances, and then this is because of the you recall that there's supposed to be removal of fuel subsidy from June, and barely 2 months to the time federal government is announcing 40% increment on workers' allowance, and they're expecting that from April ending. They are to expect it, because as it is, the committee in charge of everything have done their part, and it's just for the president to assent it. And this information is coming from the Director of Press and Public Relations, Ministry of Labour and Employment, who revealed that the federal government might begin the payment of the 40% pay rise by the end of April this year. And he also added that 3 months arrears of January, February, and March will be paid. He, however, said that he cannot confirm categorically whether the president is done with his part, but the announcement has been made. So I think Nigerian civil servants at large should expect, even though coming from the NLC as well as trade union, they will tell you that is allowance, not salary increment. So market people will not begin to, oh, workers are going to salary, so let's also inflate prices and all of that. So until then, until the end of April, where we'll see if it has been successfully implemented, but I think it is really good considering the inflation, considering the issue of fuel scarcity, workers pay, transportation, workers eat. When you go to the market, prices of food stuff is high. You recall how we continue to talk about that the primary responsibility of government, protection of lives and property, ensure that the welfare of the citizens is actually good. And I think this is one of the way of being thoughtful, considering the fact that for a long time there have been stagnating salary allowances and things have continued to increase. Inflation, I think 2022, it rose to 22.2% or thereabout, and that's the highest since 2005. So it's really commendable, and let's see that being executed. When workers see that in play, they will know that the government is actually thinking of them. No wonder you go to some of these government parastatals, you see people barely go to work and all of that. They say they talk about unpaid salaries among other things, or stagnated salaries, amidst inflation and all of that. So let's hope that the needful is done at the end of the day. Well,
so we're still trusting God that they will do the needful. You know, now that the Ministry of Labor are coming out to say, to make the pronouncement, that means, you know, every arrangement have been made in place, and then we're hopeful, and then believing God that will come to pass, because like he rightly said, you know, the budget is being included, the increment is being included in the budget, you know, and then that one, it means there's no excuse. But you still see us struggling with the issue of minimum wage, you know, that up to now, even though is passed by law, you know that this is what you are supposed to do. But so many states today, we are still talking about minimum wage. You know, people are not collecting what the law said, you know, they should collect. And then you begin to see, you know, but still workers doing their part, you know, being committed to doing their work. And we believe that a responsible government should look at areas of workers and see how they will cushion their effect. Looking at this issue of naira scarcity, you know, how workers were hit badly. And I think is a good news, and we hope that it will come to pass ending of April. I think that's the much we can take for Nigeria now. Thank you for doing this with me today.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, and for, you know, to keep us and then helping us to do the right thing, so that Nigeria will be at the topmost of other countries that are doing well, you know, in the world. Thank you so much, and let's do this tomorrow. Bye-bye, and God bless you.